the fun stuff now, though. Yeah, so what did you, where did we leave off last time? I'm sorry,
I sent you my homework.
Yeah, and you sent that to me here?
Oh, no. I should send that here. Okay, good to know. I'll send it to you right now.
Okay, yeah, do you mind? Oh, okay. Did you text it to me?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Oh, okay, here it is, yeah. Oh, right.
There it is.
Okay, nice. So did you have a beat for this, or did you just write it? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm looking at it on my phone. Did you send it again?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, yeah, so did you have, like, music behind you when you did this? Or?
Nah, so you were telling me about Talib Kweli.
Yeah, and he just wrote without a beat.
You were talking about, like, how he writes something down, so that's what I did.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, so then, and I apologize if any of this, about what I'm about to say is a repetition. So, but
it's so good, don't worry about
that. But it's kind of important because it will build on what's coming next.
Okay.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, long day. Alright. Talib Kweli. So he again, I feel like I've been talking about this man 3 days straight. I did a lesson yesterday and the day before, and just now. Okay, but anyway, Talib Kweli. So the thing, right? And actually, it came up. This specific issue came up in our lesson yesterday. So
I've listened to 2 of his albums, by the way.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, which ones?
Yeah. 3 of them, actually. I listened to the original Black Star one.
Yeah,
right?
Most Def and Talib Kweli are Black Star.
It's the one that I hear you quote about the most because of the Most Def, how he did
the
same song,
Yeah.
And
Quality.
And his latest one.
Oh, okay.
Which I really liked, actually.
Yeah, was that the one with the Underachievers, or did he do something since that?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, you don't know the name of it?
I dive into RM just in it.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, so the thing is, right, that rap, what makes Talib Kweli such an interesting rapper, right, is that he took what humans naturally do when they write, and then he kind of just, like, squashed it on top of what humans naturally do when they rap. Because when you write, and you gotta think about kind of what separates poetry from writing, and then what separates rap from poetry. Because when you write, you just write, man. You're not, like, saying it in your head. Your only goal when you write something down, you write a text to your friend, a love letter to your wife or whoever, your only goal is to tell that person what they need to know, right? You're kind of like, hey, left dinner in the oven, be back at 7, or whatever. So that's like writing, right? And then poetry is like a step up from that. It's slightly more organized. All of these things are a slow increase in organization. And that slow increase in organization and structure is what separates poetry from writing and rap/music from poetry, right? Because then when you get to poetry, what's your goal? It's not just to tell someone what's happening or to communicate information anymore, right? It's to create art, to kind of create this atmosphere. So then what do people do? So then the opening of a poem I love, The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot, April is the cruelest month, right? And so now your goals are a little bit different because you want to create, and what he's trying to do is kind of communicate this, like, well, the name of the poem's The Fucking Wasteland, so it really doesn't take too much guessing. So look at this, right? This isn't just communicating information, right? I mean, especially look at those, look at the end of all those lines. Breeding, mixing, stirring, covering, feeding. You kind of get this sense of lots of motion, but motion that is all wasted and not going anywhere. April is the cruelest month, breeding, and then it skips to the next line. It's a little hard to see in the text box, but lilacs out of the dead, mixing. memory and desire, stirring. Dull roots with spring rain. Winter kept us warm, covering. Earth and forgetful snow feeding a little life with dried tubers. It sounds disgusting. Because if you were to rewrite this, you could actually make it really... and this is what makes it poetry, right? He's not communicating semantic information. He doesn't T.S. Eliot doesn't give a shit about whether or not you know that there's a little life with dried tubers. He's taken what is normally a huge symbol for life and optimism and awesomeness, spring, and he's completely perverted it. April is the cruelest month. When really, what do they say? April showers bring May flowers, you know? And he creates this whole kind of really sick motion, vital force that is all, lilacs out of the dead land, mixing, memory and desire, stirring. So even though it's supposed to be this beautiful season, he makes it really ugly. And that is a great example of poetry, because he's trying to convey to you, deeper truths.
They sound like hashtags, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hashtag breeding.
Yeah.
So this is poetry, right? And so what he's done is he's added a bit more organization and structure to it. And the obvious organization that he added are those ending, what are they called, gerunds? I guess gerunds, right? Because they're not modifying anything.
Gerunds?
Gerunds.
Yes.
Yeah. Mixing, stirring.
INGs.
Yeah. And so, and he's added the line breaks, right? Because there's oh, really? Okay. And so he's added line breaks, right? Because when you're writing a normal note, you don't care about line breaks. You're just writing until the edge of the page. So he's used line breaks to kind of divide his ideas up in order to underline those gerunds, because the line break always comes after the gerunds, and then it launches you into the next line, because you're never like April is the cruelest. Hold on, you're never like April is the cruelest month breeding, and want to stop. It sends you forward into the next line. April is the cruelest month breeding, lilacs out of the dead land mixing, memory and desire stirring. So the way your eyes read it, he's played off that with how the way your mind understands the sentences. Because right now he's...
But like phonetically though.
Yeah, you would say syntactically, because phonetics is the sound of the words. So that's...
Yeah, but most people hear words in their mind when they're reading, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'm just saying syntactically is a bigger catch-all. Like syntactics...
Right.
Includes phonetics, and that's the whole thing, right?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, okay, and so the kind of organization he's added that elevates this from writing to poetry are line breaks and what you would just call stylization, and it's stylization through parallel structure, and that parallel structure is based on gerunds that end the poetic line. We good so far?
Yes.
Okay. So, and those things create, their own rhythm. And this is poetic rhythm, not musical rhythm. But poetic rhythm is really just the speed, how you read something in terms of speed. When you go fast, when you go slow, when you stop, when you start. So the gerunds make you, as we saw, read faster, right? And when he jumps to the next paragraph, you have this, mental and, you have this actual mental break. So this is later on. This is later on in the poem, about halfway through, and I want us to talk a little bit about how people are always, how anyone anywhere would naturally read this, right? And this is in the middle of the poem. I love this fucking poem, and we're gonna go over the end of it a little bit. But now look at those where there are the line breaks from one paragraph to the next. Now look at how there are the paragraph breaks, not just line breaks, is what I mean. And these are in the poems. It goes, I think we are in Rat's Alley, where the dead men lost their bones. Paragraph break. What is that noise? The wind under the door. What is that noise now? What is the wind doing? Nothing. Again, nothing. Paragraph break. So now instead of using the rhythm of the line break, he's using the rhythm of the paragraph break to impart more structure to you. And that structure is, it's really halting, it's jarring, it's fragmented. And this is actually what the whole poem does. It skips around from one narrator to the next. So sometimes you're a kid sledding somewhere. Sometimes you're the wife of a soldier away at World War I. Sometimes you're like a priest. Sometimes you're really far back in the past in Carthage. So let me just read this real quick. Still, do you know nothing? Do you see nothing? Do you remember nothing? I remember those are pearls that were his eyes. Are you alive or not? Is there nothing in your head? And when you read these paragraph breaks, you can't help but kind of be like jarred out of your seat to be like,
Right.
okay, now we're this person, now we're that person, now we're this person. And the whole effect is really what he wants to cultivate, and what he's been cultivating from the very first line is this kind of fracture, this fragmentation of consciousness, and not to be like, not to tell a continuous story, to be like, okay, and now we're gonna go to Saudi Arabia, but just to be like, bam, bitch, we're in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
So these are more organizations, right? And so this is another instance of poetic rhythm. First we saw how line breaks give rise to rhythm, and then paragraph breaks are even more jarring opportunities for continuance or dislocation of rhythm, let's just say. Alright, so he's creating his own rhythm with his words, though, right? That's the obvious thing. When anyone says that they engaged with the poem of T.S. Eliot called The Wasteland, they will have read it on the page. It will have just been words on a page. But now we're at music, right? So writing was here, then we added a little bit more organization and structure in the form of line breaks and paragraph, and we came to poetry. And now we're going to add even more structure, and then we're going to get to music. Because the really funny thing is that the word music comes from the Greek gods, the Muses. But the Muses were the gods of both poetry and music, because to people like the Greeks and the Italians, they were like the same thing. They were really just, and yeah, they're a spectrum, right? As I've been showing you, and they even called, you know, when the Aeneid opens, Virgil writes, I sing of man and arms, who traveled really far, blah, blah, blah. Oh, muse. I guess that's how it starts. Cano, Verga, where Armum, I forget. But, and even Homer's the same thing. He opens, I sing, you know? So even though the Odyssey is a poem, and the Iliad is a poem, and the Aeneid is a poem, all the poets say that they sing. And so that's just to underline the fact that this is a spectrum, right? And so now we're at music, though, and like I said, music adds more structure, right? Because now the words aren't creating the beat. Sounds are creating the beat. And when I say sounds, they're sounds that don't have semantic meaning, right? It's boom, tin. Well, I'm not beatboxing, but it's like, you know, so now the sounds are the organizing principles. But you still have to deal, in rap, you still have to deal with the fact that you're speaking in words, right? So now you kind of take T.S. Eliot's poetic rhythms, and you have to add to them musical rhythms. And so those musical rhythms are bars and beats. And we're going to get back to, and I swear to God that this will bring us to your homework eventually.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, because the obvious thing then is when you're writing rap, you're working in both worlds, right? And you have to respect poetic rhythm while simultaneously respecting musical rhythm. And if you understand rappers along this kind of axis of poetic rhythm going horizontally and musical rhythm going vertically, you can start to understand a lot of these rappers, right? So what Talib Kweli did that's really interesting is that he basically ignored poetic rhythm. Well, ignored makes it sound like it was easy or like it didn't take skill.
Well, something I was going to say,
yeah,
because you were telling me last time about his dropping behind or ahead of the beat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And what I was going to say is that in his later work, like his last album, he's definitely much more in sync with the
yeah, he is. I've noticed that too. And he told me that because, and I think it actually has to do with his compositional process, because when I interviewed him a few years later, after that interview I showed you, where he said that he writes his words first and then puts them on top of the beat. The interesting thing is that his compositional process had changed, and that now he did it more at the same time, and I think that's reflected. So what's
that's really cool, because I don't think I would have noticed that before.
No, yeah, okay,
you know
good.
What I mean? Like,
hey.
but I was able to pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. So the funny thing is that a lot of people, when they write rap, I mean write, not when they perform it over music, is that they just naturally respect the logical, inherent, natural rhythm of rap. But what's interesting is that Talib Kweli did it. He basically, it's almost like a found text, right? As if like you just went up to like the Bible or like the Iliad. You turned to a random page and then you tried to rap it. What's really interesting about Kweli is that he never made any effort at all to temper his poetic rhythms to meet musical rhythms. Because this is that part we talked about, right? I die hard like the batter thrown in the back of me by the madam. So you think I'm flattery. Actually, don't be mad at me. What's interesting is that you didn't have to rap it that way, right? He could have rapped it, we die hard like the battery thrown in the back of me by the madam C. Thinks imitation, highest form, flattery. Actually, don't be mad at me. But that's not what he did, right? So this is what I'm talking about when he, like, combined poetic rhythm with musical rhythm. Well, when he privileged poetic rhythm over musical rhythm to such a staggering degree, it's the way to think of it. Because other people would have done what I just did. They would have either changed it or they would have changed the syllables to be like, we die hard like the battery thrown in the back of me by the Madam C, who thinks imitation the highest form of, but that's obviously not what he did. So he really focused on poetic rhythm over musical rhythm, but not to the point where it wasn't rap. Because that's what someone like J. Ivy does, on Never Let Me Down. Listen how J. Ivy just isn't in time at all to the beat. This is Never Let Me Down from the Kanye West.
Part of the math. Cast me up delirious, but I'm so damn serious. That's why I expose my soul to the globe, the world. I'm trying to make it better for these little boys and girls. I'm not just
so he's not it's hard it's not rapping because it's not respecting the beat enough. That's why I expose my soul to the globe. He's just basically talking rhythmically over the beat, but he is not fully abiding by the beat.
Kind of like the Last Poets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, yes. And that's why fucking people like Kanye West love those dudes. Why Old Sweatshirt loves them. You're talking like the 60s and the 70s guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Jill Scott Heron, Scott Heron, and them. But, like, even, like, yeah, and you can see that, like, Kanye, sampled, Gil Scott Heron's comment number 1 for Who Will Survive in America, because they were, like, the first rappers. And so that's why I think it's so interesting that Kendrick on To Pimp a Butterfly on For Free, on the To Pimp a Butterfly album, the For Free interlude, he goes back to the Last Poets rhythms. This dick ain't free. Pity the fool making you prosper. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And it's all just free rhythms. So now I've been
practicing that song, by the way.
Have you? Dude, that's crazy. I notated it, man, and that was impossible. But
that's what got me into it.
Oh, is it?
I've been trying to nail it.
It's hard, man. I realize
it's
that.
Hard.
Yeah.
He's got skills, man.
Yeah.
In his voice, he'll fluctuate it within in 3/16.
Exactly.
Fluctuate. He flutters.
Yeah. No. What I think, and I've done this stuff that I did a MF Doom track because I transcribe an MF Doom track because MF Doom, like Talib Kweli, has really fine musical rhythms. I mean, finely textured, really detailed. I think of them as texturized. But what my favorite part, so I did this MF Doom study where I tried to figure out what the smallest difference between his rhythms were, the smallest noticeable difference, and it was 0.01 of a second. And that's your mouth can't even make a sound that short. It's but shorter than that. So this is my favorite part of that Kendrick track. Because those rhythms are so close to being one another, but they're not. It's like da 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 da.
No, he goes. Yeah, that's the part I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you, sources, all the social gave you fucking more than force course and Porsche and my tech, but listen, you're he's
and the difference between them is 0.01 second between the basic rhythm is da 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 da, but the difference between that first note, the da, and then the third note, is it's like a noctuplet 30-second note or something. It's so small, and it's not that he's doing it. But it's to create an effect, so that's a whole nother conversation, and it's kind of why classical music fans don't understand rap. So Talib Kweli, poetry. Okay, so now the natural rhythm of rap, right? It's rap to me, music, and I don't know anyone who takes as an extreme position on this as I do. And there are people who have a similar position, maybe, but they're a lot less gung-ho about it. But to me, music does stuff. music actually accomplishes stuff. Like, to the degree that when you go to the grocery store and you buy fucking roast beef or, no, ground beef, and you come home with it, that's getting something done. Music gets something done. And very few people, I think, will hold to that line so strongly across all genres. And I mention this because what rap tries to do is a very specific thing. And what rap does is it balances vocal performance with instrumental accompaniment to a radical degree that no other music before or since has ever done, right? Because classical music, the balance was in the weight of harmony and choir and orchestration and stuff like that. And that's why, like, you get stuff like this. Not that one. Not that one. Like this. Like, this music's about melody. It's about instrumentation. It's about form. It's about harmony. But the problem that some classical people have when trying to appreciate rap, and rappers and rap people have when trying to appreciate classical, is that they look for the same stuff. So that when a classical musician goes to a rap song, they're looking for harmonies and instrumentation and form. And I think you can find most of those things, but they're not where they are used to looking. Because the harmony isn't in the accompaniment. You know, so like fucking, like I was just talking about MF Doom, I really just need vomit spit. It's not in, the harmony isn't in the accompaniment. You know, the harmony is actually in his voice. So whereas in a classical piece, you have a whole orchestra that kind of divides up all of these parts, where like the strings are giving you the harmony, and then the flutes are giving you the melody. All of those things, and like the timpani are giving you the interesting rhythms. Now in rap, all of those things are in the voice. So what rap does then is it simplifies the background accompaniment, because what rappers are doing is so fucking complex. And if you were to make the accompaniment really complex and rappers and the melody itself really complex, it wouldn't make any goddamn sense to you. Because you can't, everything can't be amazing in a song. And I think that's what a lot of amateur artists don't understand. Like, not everything can take center stage. I mean, even in a fucking movie, right? There's a main goddamn character and a supporting cast. And it's not that the supporting cast isn't important. It's just that the supporting cast is there to make the main characters even more important. And the main characters are there to make the supporting characters even more important. Like, you have to have...
Not only that, but you actually have rhythm to the scene. You have rhythm to how you edit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. And so we've been talking about this too, right? This whole lesson, I mean, is that Kendrick is really the rap can be really complex. So like, let's just listen to that Kendrick track real quick, since you know it so well. For free.
You ain't asked me on the good thing going on. Ain't free. Living in captivity, raised my cap salary, celery, telling me green is all I need. Evidently, all I see was spam and raw sardines. This dick ain't free. I mean, baby, you really think with a mega baby name Mercedes without a Mercedes Benz and 24-inch rims, 5% tint and air conditioning?
You know, so Kendrick is obviously doing the most interesting stuff there. He's talking so much. There are so many words. His rhythms are so crazy. So what the music behind him does is simplify itself in order so that Kendrick can take center stage. So the piano just picks out the downbeats, right? It's like dun dun, and then the drums are just kind of playing accents, and they're basically repeating. And so this is the structure that your rap that you sent me, the homework, naturally interacts with, because this is what rap has to do. Like, your accompaniment has to feel the downbeat. But I mean, that classical we were listening to before, not much of a downbeat, right?
Right, yeah, no, it's loose.
Loose. What are you gonna say, like, we die hard like the battery thrown back at me by the Madam C makes, like, the things just sound, my rap there and the music playing right now just sounds completely unrelated. It sounds like two different...
they will have to follow you. There have to be notes. Yeah.
I can't be like, I wake up in the morning and I ask myself, you know, like, where the fuck's the downbeat? Only the musicians know. And the downbeat isn't even heard by us. It's basically just like an organizing principle. It's like a green light for the musicians reading it, but we don't see the green light because it's on the music notation that they're reading, you know?
Right. Right.
So that's why rap has the structure it does, because rappers are really complex. And so what rap instrumental accompaniments do is they simplify themselves and they repeat. That's the most important thing. Simplified and repeating. And that's not a bad thing. It's just how rap has decided to kind of strike its bargain with music, right?
It's the breaks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These are the breaks. So let me do redefinition real quick, right? And I'll point out what the beat is, and then we can talk about how yours are. Because the funny thing is that I understand this principle so well, and actually I did it with Joe Budden, a Joe Budden album before it was released. I recorded myself to prove that I had not heard the songs before it was released, and I stayed up all night until it was released, and then I could rap these lyrics just from reading them on the words, because rap has this structure so strongly. So this is redefinition. Okay, so this song has a 4-bar loop. And it's important that it's 4 bars, because everything falls into groups of 4, man. Like, it's just a natural thing. Like, I don't know. Like, why do we divide the world into left and right and up and down? Like, it's just easy. Like, you can't, because 4 is easy to divide into 2, and then it's easy to double into 8, you know? It's why minutes are made out of 60, because 60 can be divided by 1, the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 15, 20, and 30. And so that's why we still use it, even though our number system is now base 10, unlike clocks in the Sumerian culture that clocks came from. But, so it's just 4 bars, or 2 bars, if it repeats a lot. And so the drum beat here is boom, tin, boom, boom, tin, boom, tin, boom, 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 tin, and that repeats. And it's something like that. Maybe it's 1 bar, maybe a bass kick is thrown in there now and again, but that's the basic one, right? And so that repeats the whole song. By the time this shit is over, you might have heard that fucking rhythm 40 fucking times. And if I were to tell you that I'm about to do the same thing for you 40 fucking times, you will be like, by time 5, I will be super fucking bored. And I'm like,
but it's the bed. It's like the bed.
Yeah, exactly. And then the rapper is like sleeping in it. Yeah. And
that's why it's so annoying when you don't hear it mixed well.
Yeah.
You hear like you.
Hello?
Hello, you there?
Yeah. What's up?
You don't hear like a good mix, and like the instruments are on top, and you just like hearing this, like you're more conscious of it.
Yeah.
You're trying to listen to the person. It's like it's horrible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let me keep pointing out what the beat is. And so then there's kind of like that plucked string instrument, like the dun 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 dun. And now it's about to repeat. Right there. It starts again, right? So that's another 4 bars. Well, that's 4 bars long again, happening at the same time as the bass kick. And then you kind of have that high string tremolo that's like really high up there, right? And that's just the long pedal. So those 4 bars, basically, with the bass kick that goes buh, t, buh, 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 t, and then the pluck string that goes like dun 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 dun, and it's repeating now. And then the tremolo string or whatever, you know, it repeats after every 4 bars. And so then Talib Kweli is going to play off it. And yeah, so they're laying the bed so that then Kweli can do fucking backflips on it. And the only reason he can flow so crazy is because the beat is so well established, right?
Right.
And so these are the organizing principles of music, and more specifically rap, that have been added to the line breaks and paragraph breaks of poetry in order to create music. Because since rap is also poetry when you write the lines down, you are working with the same idea of line breaks and paragraph breaks. It's just that the line breaks are now in between your sentences, and the paragraph breaks are like the verses and the choruses. So let me point out who's a good. Oh, Tupac. So let's go to changes. I mean, I've been referencing it so much that we have to get to it. Because all of his line breaks line up with the bars. If you notice. No, dog. There we go. Oh, I can't skip the intro on this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to take up a minute or two. You probably don't mind that much.
No.
Damn.
Come on. I see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself? I'm tired of being poor and even worse, I'm black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a purse to snatch.
Okay, so there, if you notice, all of Tupac's line breaks line up with bar breaks, right? Because beats last 4 bars. Well, excuse me, musical loops last 4 bars in rap. Those 4 bars themselves all have 4 beats in each one of those bars. And that's what I'm talking about when I say a bar break. It's a division between a bar.
But he's also, what I noticed in studying the sheet music that you did, is that he's also doing loops, though, within the way he's laying down the words. Like, there is a repetition to the way,
but the repetition is within the sentences, not across the sentences.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wake up every morning and I ask myself, is life worth living? Should I blast myself? You know that da-da-da-da. I wake up every morning and I...
The end rhymes.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah, that too. Ask myself.
Yeah.
Ask myself.
Right.
Is life worth living? Should I blast myself?
Blast myself.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the same rhythm, right? So what would be helpful is I want to point out to you where the line breaks in poetry are in rap, and then I can point them out to you. I'm actually gonna rap your words back to you, and then we'll see how close I get, and also how it's so different from what Quality does. But to point out these poetic line breaks in Tupac, could you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, and keep going?
Yeah.
And then stop when I say, what's the first line? I wake up every morning and I ask myself. And then we'll stop after that, okay? So yeah, just count something I can rap over.
Right. So without the music?
Oh yeah, just right now. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2,
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wake up every morning and I ask myself. Is life worth living? Should I blast myself?
1, 2, 3,
okay.
4.
So you notice when I say wake up every morning and I ask myself. Then you say 4, and then the bar starts over, right?
Yeah.
So Tupac really strongly has his poetic rhythms line up perfectly with the musical rhythms, because the bars end when his lines end. Right. You know, and not every rapper does this. Notorious B.I.G. is a really good example of a rapper who doesn't do this.
Crossing the bar.
Exactly.
Right,
oh yeah, did you read that article of mine?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's one of the bigger ones. So now we see how rap is interacting with both these poetic and musical rhythms. And again, so yeah, now let's do...
I think crossing the bar is fun, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, to me, it's so fucking interesting. And even they even use it to back up their puns sometime. You know, because Rakim has a line like that, and we could look it up.
But you can't contain the bars within. You can't contain these lines within these.
And bars
like that.
Yeah, it's something like, and this is just the line I know, volcano inside, but it's a Rakim line, with these lines inside, can't be kept inside. Yeah, so it's Eric B. and Rakim, our president. So let me point out how rappers then.
Make a clap to this. Make a clap to this. Don't get excited, you've been invited. But can you dissect what's coming next from the flex of the wrist? Saying D, then I'll proceed, cause my man made a mix. Every beat he won't need no band-aid to fix his fingertips. So I'm rhyming till there's no rhymes left. I hurry up and cut the cuddle, bitch, bleed to death.
So actually, so far, and you know, it's important that this is really early in the history of rap, 1987, yeah. Because he's doing the same thing Tupac did 10 years before Tupac. So rap hasn't quite gotten to this place of rapping across the bar line, and that's why people thought what Rakim was doing was so cool, because he was rapping across the bar line. But up until this moment, he's been, where are we? I hurry up because the cut will make him bleed to death. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, like a fucking square. I hurry up because the cut will make him bleed to death. 1, 2, 3, 4 is how I clap. But now, listen to what he does next. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. See that? So he took his sentence across the dividing line, which created its musical rhythm, right? He took the poetic rhythm of the sentence, the line break that we've been talking about.
And then the music accompanied that too.
Oh yeah, with the little da-da-da.
No, with the symbol.
Oh, okay, hold on. Oh yeah, there you go. And then the new idea starts. So now we can see how you always have to be respecting both of these things, right?
Yeah.
You know, you just can't get on the track and talk, because eventually you fall out of rhythm and people literally just don't understand what the fuck you're doing. Like when I tried to rap over that classical music beat, right? So now so now 45 minutes later, we can talk about your homework. So the thing then is, you stand over me and call me your son. But where were you when I was living in the slum? As seen on TV, packing pistols, claiming religion. You stand over me and criticize my living. That is the natural rhythms that occur to me when I read your rhythms. Read your words. And obviously I've never heard you rap it, and don't say anything about it yet, because I want to work with this for a second. And then it's hard to forget something else.
Oh, it's fine, because I haven't even tried yet.
Okay, yeah, see? Okay, good, okay. And this is what Kweli did, because it's really interesting that Kweli rapped the way he did, or had the writing process that he did, because he didn't write like this. He just really preserved it, right? So if you don't have a rhythm, that's a really good thing, because I would try not to find such a square rhythm, because people have rapped like how I just did and how I interpreted your words. They've been doing it ever since rap fucking became a thing. You know, I could play you Rapper's Delight. Is the same style. Curtis Blow. Even the Africa Bambaataa early on, you know. So it goes like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. You stand over me and call me your son. But where were you when I was living in the slum? You know. So now we have these things, right? It's that square rhythm, like how does Curtis Blow start, right? Because he flows like how I just did.
Clap your hands, everybody, if you got what it takes. Cause I'm Curtis Blow, and I want you to know that these are the words.
So, if Curtis Blow were to release that song right now, it would be almost wrong, because there just aren't enough syllables in that opening. And I'll show you, his pauses between his words are too long, and it sounds fucking outdated. It sounds old school. Like when people parody and make fun of rap, this is what they're parodying.
Hands, everybody, if you got what it takes.
He stays on got for too long. Clap your hands, everybody, if you got what it takes. Like got, you have to watch got for like, it's painful. You gotta watch it for like 10 times as long as you should, you know. Clap your hands, everybody, if you got just... So nowadays, you have to have... Because now rappers are the fucking show. Back in Curtis Blow's day, you know, it was still kind of like disco and more live. So then you could watch the bassist and the drummer. So it should be... So nowadays, you would have to do like, clap your hands, everybody, if you got just what it takes. You know, you gotta add that rhythmic propulsion, because you are now the fucking show. So let's go back to yours. Like, you stand over me and call me your son. Well, where were you when I was living in the slum? So now it's like, it's the same kind of thing. And if you don't have a rhythm, then we can decide right now what to do. But it's like, you can either go Curtis Blow's way and rap it with the preserved, and I'm not saying that this can't work. I mean, there are fucking retro movements all the time, and I goddamn love cool kids who even they even make a whole fucking song out of the idea of their DJ being president, on the Cool Kids album, Cool Ass Ninjas. And so you can go this way and be like, yeah, I'm making old school rap, and I think you even need to know old school rap in order to fully understand Kendrick's Damn album, the one that just came out. So that shows how evolutionary, how fundamental these kind of fucking rhythms are. So you could go that route, which would be fine, or you could go the Talib Kweli route, and then you have to experiment to do what Talib Kweli did, to be like, you stand over, I don't even know how you would do it. You stand over me and call me your son. But where were you when I was living in the slum? I seen on TV. But then, so then it's like, the first really important word on your sentence is the anchor, and then everything else is spun out. You know, like, you stand over me and call me your son. But where were you when I was living in the slum? And that would be a really interesting rhythm, because you still, and a great start to it, because you still have that because you still have that really complex rhythm, like Talib Kweli does. Not quite the We Die Hard, like the battery thrown in the back of me by the Mad MC, because he keeps that going on for so long. But notice how even when I stylized your words like Kweli, I still had to wait until we got to the next bar, you know? I didn't go, stand over me and call me son, but where were you when I was living in the slum? Because that just sounds like you're rushing, man. But you have to respect the bars. That's what I've been saying this whole time. You got to respect the 4 beats. You stand over me and call me your son. 4. But where were you when I was living in the slum? 4. And then the next bar starts. And then you can keep going. But then, so, let's go this route. Because the old school route would be a little harder to pull off, you know? So now the thing is, you got to understand what your song is giving you. So, you stand over me and call me your son. Okay, so, if I'm gonna analyze this a little bit about what it is, stand over me and call me your son. Okay, so I capitalized stand to show that it's on the beat, and I put the / like that after son to show that that's a bar, right? So now, you isn't really important because it's just leading to stand. Stand is the most important word. So now we want to understand what this rhythm is so that we can use it again and play off it. So stand over me and call me your son. Alright, that's 9 syllables, right? So now the sentence is kind of divided up into you, because it's not quite as important. Over me and call me your son. And since stand to son is 9 syllables, I'm going to call this an octuplet rhythm. And so, you stand over me and call me your son. Okay, so that's what we're working with. And if I'm not wrong, well, yeah, no. And then the very next line you have, the way I rapped it, like Talib Kweli, is really similar, right? So now let's analyze this one, okay? But is just leading to where. So now we have, but where were you when I was living in the slum? Okay, so now we're doing the same thing. Where falls on the beat, but isn't quite as important because it's just landing. It's just leading to where, and then we're spinning out these complex rhythms again. So let's see how many syllables are in this one. Where were you when I was living in the slum? Okay, so this is 11. We're still going to call it a octuplet though, because it's still the same rhythm, it's just been extended longer. So to perform this one perfectly like the last line, you would have had to stop on in. So you would have gone, but where were you when I was living in? Because that's the rhythm of, you stand over me and call me your son. You hear that?
We have to be rushed.
Yeah. So now, okay, so we've gone from 9 to 11. And this is like, dude, the rest of its verse has basically already written itself. You just have to know what it is. You just have to understand. If you know what we have just found out, the rest of its verse has really already fucking written itself. Because if you went to 9, and then you went to 11, what's the obvious thing to do next?
9.
Well, yeah, ooh, okay, nice. Hey, you're...
No, I was just looking at the pattern, 11, 9, 11, 9,
yeah,
11, 9.
Yeah, you could do that, yes.
But I don't know, you reacted to something. I don't understand.
No.
You reacted like that.
Yeah, because I was gonna go 13. You know, because you go 9, 11.
Why would that be the next? Why would 13 be the next logical place to go?
Well, because you've been adding 2. You just added 2, so why don't you just add 2 again?
Oh, okay. You know what? I guess I was looking. You had like 3 sets of 9/11.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, but you can go back to 9. But okay. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing: you can go back to 9, or you can go to 13, and this is where being a good artist comes in, because then you have to be able to see the rest of the verse, right? And actually, I like what you did better, because if I go to 13, well, then I have to go to 15, and then I have to go to 17, and then I have to go to 19, and then 21, and eventually it becomes unsustainable. Right? Unless you go like 9, 11, 13, but then if you want to go back to your number that you just had, you don't go back to 9, right? You go back to 11, and then you go back to, 9, right? But if you go like 9, 11, 9, 13, 9, 15, then it takes a little slower, right? And again, I should make it clear, it's not the exact number of syllables, it's the relative length, right? So like 9 is being like the standard. And then 11 is slightly longer, and 13 is slightly longer. But it could be 14, it could be 15, as long as the rhythms make sense. So now that I know this, I can, it's funny, right? Because I haven't told you anything was right or wrong. I'm just taking what you've given me and making more out of it. And that's what good music is. So now we arrive to the first real problem that we have to solve. Because as seen on TV, packing pistols claim religion, the poetic rhythm of that line does not fit with the first few lines that we just had, which is, you stand over me and call me your son, but where were you when I was living in the slum? Because as doesn't lead to seen, as seen on leads to TV, and that's just the way we speak. You know, when you say the word volunteer, the natural emphasis is on the 3rd syllable. You go volunteer, da-da-da. You don't say volunteer. That's what, like, foreign speakers say, and it sounds awkward, and then you automatically know that that person is from another country and not a native speaker. So you can't rap like that. And you don't say volunteer, because that's not how we say it either. And this isn't a rule for all 3-syllable words, architect. You don't say architect. You don't say architect like how you say volunteer, or else that'll sound weird. And all of this is natural, and this is what dictionaries work so hard to catalog, right? You have to say it architect. So there, the accent is on the 1st syllable. And these are the same kind of rhythms that T.S. Eliot was working with in The Wasteland that we went over. But instead of line rhythms or paragraph rhythms, now we're talking about word rhythms, right? So now we have to fix this line. Because you can't rap that line like we were before. I'm going to try, but you'd have to say, like, I've seen on TV, packing pistols claim religion. But seen isn't the most important word there. The first one you arrive at is TV. So it goes, as seen on TV. Oh, excuse me, so it's V. As seen on TV. So what we have to do now is we have to rearrange this line so that it looks like our other lines. And so we have to move up the first important stress syllable in this phrase. So I'm going to take a shot at it and just working with this. Since TV is just showing packing pistols claim religion. Okay, so now we're going to do like this, and I'm going to spell it out just to make it clear what we're doing. TV is just showing only pistols and religion. TV is just showing only pistols and religion. TV is just showing pistol packing and religion. TV is just showing pistol packing. TV is only pistol packing and religion. Yeah, TV is only pistol.
Or TV preaching packing pistols claiming religion. TV preaching packing pistols claiming religion.
Then the line becomes too long, I think, with preaching. So you always got to do more with less, right? So TV is only pistol packing and religion.
Preach.
Yeah.
TV preaching packing pistol claiming religion.
See, because preaching, like, inserts itself too much into the party.
Or what about preach? Just 1 syllable. Still too much?
TV preach. Yeah, and also preach takes a long time to say, right? Like, TV is easy. So try to say preach as fast as you can. Preach. Like, I'm not even making it sense anymore, right? But then, take words like TV, 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 TV,
TV,
right? So TV is only pistol packing and religion, and that's why. So you could do like preaching only pistol packing and religion. Preachers only no, see, because then that's a different subject, right? So now though, this line is saying what you wanted to say, but it looks like our other lines. So now it's rap, because you have respected the poetic, and I'll perform it for you to show you how it flows better, and I'll do it both ways so you can tell.
TV is only pistol packing and religion.
See, but only is the same thing again. It's like only. I mean, you can say it fast, but then only, because the problem is that TV and only is how that will run together. So you'll have two accented syllables back to back, and then you lose the musical beat. You have to go like TV only, and then you lose it. But not TV is only pistol, right? TV is only pistol, because is moves own over, and then pistol is what gets it. And then pistol is closer to the beat, so then it works better, right? So this is how it goes. You stand over me and call me your son. But where were you when I was living in the slum? TV is only pistol packing and religion. And then that's perfect. But this is the wrong way. This is how it was before. You stand over me and call me your son. But where were you when I was living in the slum? I seen on TV packing pistols claim religion. And then you just lost the same rhythm of what you were doing before. Because you weren't using the same thinking applied to poetic and musical rhythms.
Right.
Bam. And then for the rest of the verse, you would have to play off that. And what you would probably do is you would probably try to keep using that rhythm for like the first half, then come up with a good counter rhythm that plays off it well.
So how would I break that?
Yeah, so that's the obvious question then, right? And you would break it, I mean here, give me a second. You stand over me and call me your son. Where were you when I was living in the slum? Okay, so then what you would do is, I would open the first 4 bars like that, to be like, where are we? You stand over me and call me your son. Where were you when I was living in the slum? TV is only pistol packing and religion. So then you take that rhythm and increase the rate at which your sentences come and cut it in half. And then that is the flow, you know, because that's how you get out of it. Or you could go another way, and this is where it comes into, like, you have to think of what emotion you want to go for, right? Because you don't have to go with that syncopated flow that I just did, because that's almost more like a party flow and someone will bob to it. But if you want to talk more seriously, then you could almost, like, just be really fucking in people's face and be like, you stand over me and call me your son. Where were you when I was living in the slum? TV is only pistol packing and religion. And then you're into the next, right? But
that's like Big Pun.
Is it? Yeah. I actually don't know his stuff too well. But this is, but like, you have to think about what kind of emotion you want to impart to it. Because the second way I did it is more serious. It's more in your face. The first way I did it, it has more bounce to it and more flow. So it's like the same way, like, yeah.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah. So like, and then I'll probably have to go soon to meet with Austin.
All right. So you're saying that there's a difference between like the musical, where you're serving the music or serving the written word.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you determine first?
For me, the music... Let me give you a few answers. For me, the music is always more important. Because honestly, when people listen to rap, dude, it doesn't even... They don't even know what the fuck you're saying. And let me play you... And that's why rap can get away... So many rappers can get away with saying a lot without ever really saying anything, you know? That's why so much of rap is just like drugs, money, sex, or whatever. Well, not so much. But not as much as some people think. But, so to me, it's like the rhythm is more important. But Jean Grey had a really good point. And that she said those things are basically the same fucking thing. And, like, the rhythm is the word. So then you just have to make the two work together. And if the rhythm isn't right, you have to pick a new word. And that's why my example of the difference between, like, what was the word? TV and preaching was so important. Because you can say TV, but you can't say preacher. Like, your mouth just can't move like that,
so
right?
Are you saying they should be, like, structured in a way like it can be said fast? Or is there,
that's kind of like asking the wrong. Well, there's no answer to that, right? It's like it's not a no.
So both.
Yeah.
So there's a place for both.
Yeah, exactly. There's a place for both, and I guess what I was saying before was you have to decide whether you want this song to be more about the rhythms or more about the words. But let me give you a quick example, right? Like when you imagine someone that you really hate, whoever, and then imagine how you would tell them, I hate you, right? And then say I hate you with different rhythms. So you could be like, I hate you. Or you could be like, I hate you. Or you could be like, I hate you. And all of those things are different rhythms and different deliveries, and they all communicate slightly different shadings of the meaning, I hate you. Yeah. You can even say I hate you in a way that makes people know you don't hate them. Like, I hate you. And but who says I hate you like that? Because if you really hated them, you wouldn't say it like that. So that's why rhythms are so important. So then you have to decide what your words are really saying and how you want to communicate it. Because, I mean, yeah, exactly. And that's rap.
I got you. I think I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay, yeah, so I gotta go meet with
Sounds good. Tell him I said what's up.
Oh yeah, I will, yeah, and I gotta show him that that video, man. He'll be stoked about that. Where you said about how much better he's gotten, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
But yeah, let me do that, and then we can you wanna meet next Friday?
Yeah, so what should be, in what way can I improve this? What would you say? Don't be sensitive about, like,
you mean this rap?
Assignment.
You mean this rap?
Yeah. In what ways? What kind of changes would you like for me to make?
Okay. So what I would do now then is for the rest of the verse, just do exactly what I just did. Make all of your lines follow that basic pattern of like a really quick lead in to the most important syllable, and then a spun out polyrhythm, and decide how you want someone to feel when they hear your music, and then that will actually determine your rhythms.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
Alright, yeah, thanks so much, man. So, next Friday at 3:15 for now. I might have to text you to change it.
No problem.
Okay, and we'll talk about that animation video a little bit then?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, man. Can't wait. I'll see you Friday, what's that, the 16th? I think, yeah, at 3:15 p.m. EST then. Thanks, dog. I'll talk to you later.
Cool.
Alright, peace.